Welcome to another episode of Wake Us Up in the Hood. Good evening. I am your host Marshall, and tonight I came across a speech of my favorite uncle, Rob Hersov, and I watched the speech up until about 8 to 9 minutes. So he said a very few interesting stuff. So I thought, wait, let me make just a reaction video so I can, comment on the statements that he makes. So for the rest of the video, I haven't watched the whole one, so most of it will be a surprise to me.
We have run out of money. Our debt ceiling is long past the IMF comfort point. Thank God Trump got elected. America's coming in swinging. What is going on internationally is in our favor. And ANC, when they hit rock bottom, what do? They keep on digging. ANC is going to run out of allies very quickly. This time round, you watch. They'll rip this economy to shreds instantly. Is what the ANC does generally malevolence or incompetence? Well,
I like how Uncle Rob, welcome to YouTube. Or I don't know, did you come first? I don't know, but nevertheless, I like how he uses an African theme, for his platform. Just goes to show the access he has. Look how it looks, man. So professional, so what is the word I'm looking for? As a artist myself, and I'm referring in terms of graphic design. This is expose, the best money can buy. But yeah, I'm not here to admire that. Just thought it was interesting to point out how Africanized Uncle Rob Hersov is, very by the book of the steps they have to follow.
thank you very much. And thank you, everybody, for this wonderful evening. And congratulations to the Hermanus Business Council. So I was at Black Magic coffee shop this morning, and I get up very early because I go to bed very early. And I ordered one of those delicious cheese and Marmite croissants. And when I looked at my cheese and Marmite croissant, I realized that I had become that jar of Marmite. Because you either love me or you hate me. And I didn't want this.
That's the thing what I love about you, Uncle Rob, that we can hate you.
Career as a capitalist activist. That, by the way, the one-liner was capitalist activist, 3 holes in one. That was it. It wasn't the other stuff. What I really wanted to do in my life is be a stand-up comedian and make people laugh and have people have a good time and go home happy and feeling good about themselves. And
I must admit, mission accomplished. Very happy on this. You're making me laugh.
instead, what I'm doing now is making people uncomfortable, angry, upset, scared, worried. And there's a lovely meme of these two monkeys looking at each other. And the monkey says to the other one, well, how come you upset so many people? And the other monkey said, I told the truth. And unfortunately, that is what I have been doing. I've been telling.
What could be the truth that a monkey tells to another monkey that there's the other monkeys upset? I mean, the monkeys are animals. This thing about the PR team, they are very crafty.
The truth. And the lovely lady at Black Magic this morning said, can you give me some advice on my son? He's 23, he's in London, and I want him to come home to South Africa. And my initial answer, without even asking more, was to say, tell him not to. Because I'm not very hopeful right now. I'm not very hopeful about this country. I think we're in a very bad state. And it's so wonderful to be in Hermanus. You know, my dad's turning 99 this year, mum 92. They're in the house, they're pottering around. It couldn't be better. My father wanted to come tonight, but he said, I'll talk too long. No, I'm just kidding. It'll go on too long.
Uncle Rob, sy is wat my leader Desmond en my leader Mansoor sal sê, lang tong. Sy's 'n lang tong, Rob Hersov, praat baie.
And I just feel that it's so beautiful here, but we're in a bubble. Hermanus is a bubble in the Western Cape bubble. And outside the bubble, things are very, very bad. And the HB...
Weer eens, Uncle Rob Hersov praat die waarheid, mense. Veral ons mense hier in die Kaap. Ons dink omdat dinge gaan so goed hier binne in die Kaap, you know, the best run city. Op die uitskaps in die Weskaap, buitekant die bubble, is 'n tragedy. 'n tragedy. Babas wat met trauma groot raak.
HBC is about a business-friendly environment. Well, South Africa does not have a business-friendly environment, and it's getting worse. But I think...
Hier is die ding wat ek van praat. Waar Uncle Rob void in a lack of intellectual capacity het. Gaan die environment of business as daai meer belangriker as life, humanity. Beware of the false prophet.
I think as a Marmite person, and I was at a drinks with some friends we hadn't seen in ages. My wife and I said, we've got to go and see them. We haven't seen them in ages, invited us for a drink. So we went up for a drink. And they said, we didn't see you at the party last Saturday. And I said, well, I wasn't invited to that. And then the husband said, and you weren't at the golf dinner? And I said, no, I wasn't invited to that either. And so it goes. You know, I have been deplatformed. I have been kicked out of businesses I founded. I've been asked to pretend I'm not a shareholder in businesses where I'm one of the major shareholders. I'm not on the board of any companies anymore because it's too risky for my poor friends and partners, for me.
Welcome to the club, Rob Hersov. Welcome to the club. And you know, the Bible speaks about this. A righteous man will not be without honor except in his home and community. So that is nothing unique to you, Uncle Rob. This is what I'm saying. When this universe operates on laws, there's only a finite amount of potential possibilities that can transpire, not an infinite. Because we are existing in a vacuum. Right? So, all of us will have almost every experience in this lifetime of ours. Each of us will only experience it at a different point in our life. Right? Look how old Uncle Rob is now. And he's only now experiencing that phase of life. Right? Some of us has experienced this as 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 25 years olds, some of us in our 30s. Right? So, don't feel too bad, Uncle Rob, man. That happens to all of us. The Bible speaks about that.
Need to be seen, because at some point, somebody says, he's too political. I even said to Michael House, where I was 3 generations of Hersovs at Michael House, the media centers, the Hersov Media Center. And I suggested that it would be nice that I could go and speak to these young people, positive, uplifting career speech. That application has gone to the Board of Governors to decide whether they should invite me or not. And 4 years ago, they had duly.
Did you see dit gevaarlijke graphic appearing there now? Yes. I can do that. It just, takes time to create that, That's why this guy, is people that he pays to do that. Nobody's gonna do that for free for him. But I must say, gevaarlijk.
So that's the point that I've reached. That's the point that I've reached. But it got worse 2 hours ago. It got worse. You're pissing everybody off when that leftist ragbag Daily Maverick sets the nasty Zapiro, cancel subscriptions, the nasty Zapiro at me, and he does some horrible, horrible cartoons. You've made it, by the way, when that happens. And then in Parliament 2 hours ago,
Sure, what? Did you really just say that? No.
I get a message from a certain minister. Rob, MK really don't like you. LOL. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I'll send you the clip, which I shouldn't have listened to before coming here, because often how I speak is dictated by the mood I'm in when I get up here. A certain MK member of Parliament, the Honourable Douglas, anyone heard of him? Mentioned their impending treason charge against Afri Forum and Rob Hersov. Cully Creel didn't even get his name mentioned, but I did. And if you want to kill my mood, send Zapiro and the MK after you.
No, man, Rob Hersov. No, man. No, man. So you're meaning to say that that's when you know you've made it, when people are expressing the truth to you, right? That capitalism is not sustainable and it's not the best model for this ecosystem, because it prioritizes prioritizes profit over life. Alright? It's producing for consumption to generate profit. That is wasteful. But then again, you consider yourself the spokesperson of South Africa, right? And I said, no, you don't have that intellectual capacity. Maybe you can be a spokesperson for business in South Africa. But, and again, given the reasoning you have, still points out the lack of intellectual capacity, that the system you want to implement is one that is unsustainable in the long term, right? And what you are advocating for is the preservation of a minority at the expense of the majority. And that is not what God intended, when He created existence.
So here I am. These are my notes, okay? By the way, I'm as surprised as you at what comes out of my mouth. So beware. Well, that's page 1. So what I thought I'd do is just have a little chat to you about what's going on in South Africa and what's going on in the world and my read on it, because we're at a very interesting point right now. The GNU was a miracle. mainly because the alternative was so terrifying that anybody who says today,
Uncle Rob, let's just clarify that point. The GNU is not a miracle. The GNU is planned. We've already established that, right? Last year already. That the GNU was already being prepared in the year 2023 in Poland, right? There was a big meeting there, and for those who didn't see that video, you have to go way back now, and maybe I'm gonna in that corner there, top right hand corner, make it appear now so you can click there if you are interested to watch that. So in that video they already established that the GNU was planned way before the elections even took place, right? So how can you now come and portray that or sell it to us as a miracle? How do you plan miracles? Miracles is something spontaneous, right? Something unexpected. So it doesn't qualify to be considered a miracle. So don't lie to the people, Uncle Rob, man.
the DA should walk out of the GNU, FF Plus should storm out of the... Do not do that. We have to keep the GNU together. We have to.
And why is
because
that,
once
Uncle
you're
Rob?
out of the GNU, you don't come back.
And
And
why
once
is
enough
that?
people are out of the GNU, MK is in. And let me tell you right now, they are the threat. Forget Julius Malema, forget everything else.
So Rob Hersov, the DA, has been in power in the Western Cape since forever. In the Western Cape, it's the only province that still don't have integration. The Western Cape is the most apartheid province in this country. Spatially and economically. Right? And they are the ambassadors of the so-called Rainbow Nation. Right? And here you are exposing yourself that a Rainbow Nation is not even in your interest. Shame on you, Uncle Rob. I can see you are not like us.
Forget the destructive and useless and socialist ANC. MK will destroy us all. They will destroy our economy overnight.
And here is my thing with you capitalists, right? What you are having is already not the same, how do I put it now? It has certain features, your capitalist system of a communist and a socialist system that you are so against, right? Because look in that room there, all white people with money, right? You are talking there so that you guys can collude and only, be communist amongst each other, coming here talking about wanting to build a capitalist society, knowing very well that we will be excluded because we are already years behind. Again, Uncle Rob, you are here on fourth generation generational wealth. No, man, Uncle Rob, man. Where's the togetherness? I don't hear anything about togetherness from you.
And they've got in there some competent enemies of ours. Floyd Shivambu,
Look there.
He knows what he's doing
Look
and he's
there.
pulling it together.
Just because you speak with a softer tone, just because you use softer terms, it does not change the fact that you already perceive us as enemies. Right? But when we point that out in our own defense, then we are being accused of being the ones instigating this enemy circumstance. No, man, Uncle Rob, man.
Together. And Jacob Zuma, everybody thinks, oh, he's an old man, he's going to die at some point. Have you seen him run up a stage and jump onto the podium? He's in terrifyingly good shape, and he is going to last a lot longer than any of us want.
You. What a statement, Uncle Rob. So you meaning to say you are crossing your fingers that Uncle Zuma, collapse? That's how bad you want to get rid of him. You wish for his death. Here I am, as much as I hate, to love you and love to hate you. I don't want to see you die, Uncle Rob. I just want to have equity with you. That's all. Yeah, your soul is dark.
So MK are going to get the act together. Tell it like it is. MK are going to get the act together. They are a credible, serious, and dangerous threat to this country.
You really want people to...
And I asked Gayton McKenzie, well, actually, he called me and he said, you actually caught all of us in the GNU napping because you said not a single person in the GNU's ever used the two words, economic growth. Not one of you said economic growth. What the hell are you doing in the GNU? Gayton said, you're right. He said, we have 3 priorities. 1, keep MK out. 2, safety and security. 3, economic growth. And we haven't got to number 2 and 3 yet. All they're trying to do.
Your Uncle Gayton. Dis waarvan ons praat. You know? En die Uncle Douglas wat Uncle Rob van praat. Sy stans is, ons wil die grond terug hê. Van wie die grond afgevat is. Asseblief man, Uncle Gayton. Moenie 'n Kenzie visie. Just like it. Sy staan saam met die mense. Hoe oor jou eie mense. Nee man, Uncle Gayton man.
Is keep it together and keep MK out.
Sy praat nou van sy wil jobbies create vir ons mense. Hou, ek hoop dit is permanent jobs. Ookie jou eie EPWP soort gelykie. Ek praat van permanent jobs, dignified permanent jobs wat above minimum wage betaal. Ek hoop dit is wat sy doen in die PA. En as sy dit doen, ek commend jou vir daai man. Dan commend ek jou vir daai Uncle Gayton. Maar om te staan met die mense, sy wil hê ons moet nie grond terugkry nie. Sy wil hê ons mense moet generational wealth bou nie. Sien sy, hoe kinders is uitgesoort. So sy nie worry oor die rest van ons nie. Sy wil nog net sieke maak. Sy is van 15 generations uitgesoort soos hulle. Sien sy, en sy gebruik vir ons om daai te sê van all you want is power! Power! Daai is wat sy gesê het, Uncle Gayton.
And if you blame the DA and Patriotic Alliance and IFP and FF+ for not standing up harder against Bella, NHI, and EWC, it's because they're looking in the rearview mirror all the time at MK. And they don't want to have to say, we're walking if you sign that bill. Because if they walk out of the GNU, pack your bags. And that I mean.
Please walk out of the GNU, DA,
exactly what he's doing.
EFF+.
The first time round, and he was the worst president any country could ever want, he didn't steal very much himself. the Zuma family did not end up stealing very much money. They let everybody else.
Uit die pet se bek, out of the horse's mouth, people. Zuma didn't steal very much. Zuma did not do what Cyril Ramaphosa is doing. Uit die pet se bek. En nou gaan julle nog steeds die vatte aan nie. Ek meen, as die wit man het sê, en dan is het wet, dan is het waarheid. Nou, hy sê die wit man het dan nou. Zuma het nie so mats, hy het gesteel, hy het nie so mats gesteel, waar die land in sy chops geraak het, soos het nou is hy. Gee die man 'n bruikeslag, man.
Else steal. The Guptas and tons of cadres stole this country blind, but the Zumas themselves didn't actually end up with that much money.
En dan kan Rob gaan nou nog eens sê, hoe steel die mense ons rykdom, ons minerals, hoe word ons gerob deur die Reserve Bank? Ek bedoel, banke was skuldig bevind vir rand manipulation, en niemand is tronk toe nie. Kom ons steel gewoon net van mense af, en ek bedoel, oor die jare is trillions of worth, en dis hoekom ek sê, beware the false prophet in this economy. Understand? Because this thing about forex trading, it's also part of the problem, you know, because how do people make money doing forex trading, right? They buy a certain amount of, say for example, dollars or pounds, you know, a foreign currency. Now they hold on to that. Now, remember, currencies fluctuate. Now, the economy is strong on the other side based on, you know, levers being pulled in the background, because we know the system is rigged. Now, that currency they are holding on to, the value increases. Now they sell, and the difference between the amount they bought it for, now based on the amount they are selling it for, that is the profit they make. Money out of nothing. And as we know, as I've been repeating, that this universe functions on laws. If here's the cup with a finite amount of liquid, now I drink from it. Now there's less in the cup. Right? Now, just because numbers on a computer fluctuate, people are able to make money. Where was that value extracted from? Because you cannot create something out of nothing in this universe, in this existence. So the system we are operating on is allowing people to extract value from other people without them knowing, without their knowledge. Not knowing they had 100 rand today with 100 rand or 100% buying power. Now tomorrow the numbers change. 10% of that is transferred to me. They still have 100 rand, but now they have 90% buying power. So the 100 rand has less value. And that is what this economic system is based upon and how it functions. People are getting rich quick, while other people lose their whole life's savings in a second. Because this system, this is what Uncle Rob Hersov is advocating for, the capitalist system.
And that I can tell you for sure. But this time round, you watch. They'll rip this economy to shreds instantly. So
I can't wait for that day when this economy is in shreds, in pieces. then we can start to work on implementing, because we're not going to create it. There is already a system based on laws and not rules. People change numbers how they want to. Unchangeable laws. We just need to abide by them. Then the system will function for everyone. And that is what you don't want to happen. Because then there's no servants, people to work under you. Right? It's not to say that none of us don't like to clean. I enjoyed cleaning. I would take a job to cleaning toilets in a factory, whatever, as long as the manager and the toilet cleaner, right through the board, the doctor, the lawyer, all of us pay the same, because all of us play a function in society, and without our presence, then society can't function. If you are a waste collector, a toilet cleaner, a doctor, society cannot function without you. Hence, all of us must get paid equal, regardless of how long you went to study. We can still have that system in place, because where you're gonna work is gonna depend on your level of training. Because a person cleaning a toilet, anybody can do that. So let's have that people that don't want to study. You know, some of us like to study and we believe we are lifelong learners, like myself. If I had an opportunity, I would never leave the university. Every year, I'm learning something new. Why can't we have a system like that? And people who don't like to read or write and don't want to partake in those activities, let them clean toilets or whatever. There are those people out here. Let people love according to their passion. And then society will experience heaven. As simple as that. But the devil economists, capitalists, do not want us to have dominion in God's kingdom.
Yes, DA should stand stronger, Patriotic Alliance. But they're looking in the back mirror at this
Again, PA, Patriots, wat die Baisan nie. Uncle Rob sê nou via vir julle. Hy noem almal die DA, die PA in een sentence met een asem. Van is een ding. DA, PA een ding.
terrifying MK. And let me say something about expropriation without compensation.
Wat wil
You
jy
know
sê?
what's coming. The cliff path goes through Molligren and in front of our house on private property. But for public interest, the words used in EWC, our family stepped back and said, the path is probably a good thing. We're not going to fight against it anymore. And in public interest, we said, that's okay. And we gave up. Clinton's still nodding his head. He knows it's true. But all of you allowed expropriation without compensation in front of Mulligan, in front of our house, anyone who donated to the cliff path. But we're okay with it, okay? But the real expropriation without compensation was almost the straw that broke the camel's back. What actually did it was the budget. Everything was building up. And when the non-ANC members of the GNU stood up and said to Enoch Gonaguana, who, by the way, pretends that it was just him that added the 2%, because in one of Alec Hogg's BizNews interviews, you were talking, Alec, about the brain trust in the ANC. And I laughingly said, there's no brains and there's no trust. And obviously Enoch listens to what I say, because he sent me a message saying, there was no brain trust decision. It was my decision entirely. But what he's really doing is protecting the ANC. He's taking it for Cyril. He's taking it for the ANC. They knew exactly what he was doing.
Can somebody please help me understand why did he felt the need, to contact Rob Hersov personally? Again, people, these are the people who own the economy. This is they are the owners of the economy. That's why they in a sweat. And then they wanna talk about equality, free market, when they know they're keeping us out. The owners of the economy. Well, for that guy felt the need to respond to him personally. It's almost like he's reporting to his boss or something.
So we've come to a point now where March the 12th, the final day of the business conference, we're going to hear the new budget. And I'm hearing they're going to try and tack on a 0.75% increase to VAT, no wealth tax. But what else? Because if the ANC is not going to mention any spending cuts, we have run out of money. Our debt ceiling is long past the IMF comfort point. We have run out of money. The taxpayers can't handle anymore. The country is uninvestable. FDI.
What an ironic statement. We have run out of money. A statement made by a multi-generational billionaire. A dollar billionaire. We have run out of money. You don't qualify for that statement, Rob Hersov. No, man, Uncle Rob.
Is not coming in. And if they don't start to change direction, ANC and rest of GNU, away from socialism, away from racist policies, we have 140, everyone calls them racially based laws. We have 140 racist laws, racist, anti-white laws in law in this country. Let's not dance around it. Unless this changes direction away from racism, anti-white racism, away from socialism, and away from these lunatic policies the ANC is trying to push through of NDR, RET, and which MK and EFF.
And here's another conundrum for me. And I present it to you as well. How can a Christian, a person who considers himself a Christian, also be a capitalist? A Christian who advocates for a system that doesn't look out for his brother, his sister. Survival of the fittest. Some Christians, please help me understand that. Those capitalist Christians. You're supposed to love your neighbor as yourself, but you're advocating for a system that has no care for your neighbor.
Will do way, way worse. We're in serious trouble. And that's the internal dynamics of what's going on in South Africa. So March the 12th is a key point. You know, we'll
move away from socialism. Very important for Uncle Rob Hersov.
Find out where this government's heading. And cost cuts are so easy. You know, R.W. Johnson mentioned that South Africa has the second largest number of embassies of any country in the world. I mean, do we have embassies in Bolivia and the Comores? We probably do. And what?
Again, the problem with this economic system, cut costs. Cut costs. Costs. Cut costs. Sorry, man. English is not my first language. Cut costs. Even if those costs will cut lives. Because we have to save money, not lives. So cut costs.
What is an embassy? It's a retirement villa for ANC cadres. If we cut half the embassies, it will save us, R.W. Johnson gave a number, Alec, what was it? 60 billion or something. Sell off the land. That's one easy saving. Or ban international travel to conferences for all these lunatics that go to brand conferences and yah-yah conferences. They're a very easy way to cut costs. But basically, the costs being cut are the donations to cadres and ANC voters, as is the social grant.
So tell me now, Uncle Rob, where are you now conducting your business as you are on the stage making a speech? Are you not residing in maybe a 5-star hotel? I don't know. Because I can't imagine you, going to a B&B that charges you maybe, say, 150 for a night. So, and what I'm trying to highlight by making that statement is to say, you want to have that level of, that standard of conducting business, right? And you are now looking down upon the government officials doing their business at the standard that you business people do it, all right? So you want them to not stay in hotels, go to a B&B that charge them 150, not so much privacy, because you can imagine what 150 rand a night place would look like, right? So yes, I understand some of them go to extreme and really waste money, but don't make it sound as if you want them to lower us their standard in the way government should conduct their business, right? Because they don't deserve it. And as a business person, the way you present your channel and the way you present yourself in your business, how important presentation is, right? So do not let our government officials lower their standards, because that is going to make us appear weak in the international community. They must just better organize and have less waste in that sense, but not to stop operating on that standard. Please, we need to also look and take it as serious as you do, because look how presentable you appear. So do not take that away from our government.
And I was asked by a State Department senior ranking man who was in town, could I come chat to you, want to get some advice? And he asked me a question. He said, South Africa hasn't re-signed the fisheries deal, hasn't re-signed the AGOA deal. Do you think it's incompetence? They don't know how to fill out forms? Or is it malevolence, pure evil? And I thought, that's a good question. Is what the ANC does generally malevolence or incompetence? Well, it is malevolence that's grown out of the original ANC manifesto. But there's a huge amount of incompetence. And the reason Leon Schreiber has been able to fix the 40,000 outstanding visas in a matter of 4 months was because they had incompetent people in Home Affairs who didn't know how to deal with them. They just pass it up and pass it up. And eventually, Aaron Useless Mozzoletti had 40,000 visas sitting on his desk that he had to process. And that's what happens. You have incompetent people at the middle level, the cadres that are replaced, competent people, and everything gets pushed up to the top or just gets filed somewhere because they don't know what to do with it. So malevolence and competence. So South Africa is in a mess. And if you look at the 30 years of ANC rule, every single metric, see, no one's laughing, it's not stand-up comedy. Every single metric has gone the wrong way. Education is worse. They just lower the pass rate to pretend they're getting a better result. Healthcare is worse.
And whose fault is that, Uncle Rob? Who is withholding education from us? Who? It's not the ANC. It's not. The ANC is not withholding. And the evidence is there, Uncle Rob. Even after apartheid ended, we still received Bantu education. We are not having access to fourth industrial revolution subjects in our schools. And none of you South African dollar billionaires is going to make that investment into our future. Those of you who own the economy, because you know you're putting your lineage, your bloodline, your generations to come in a position of privilege and keep the rest of us lagging behind, preventing us from reaching a level of equity, so that we can operate as equals. And that is all I heard you spewed in any of your speeches and statements thus far. Not just this particular speech only. And I've been watching you for a while, Uncle Rob.
Worse. Everything is broken and we've run out of money. So that's the internal disaster. And March the 12th will tell us a lot. But what's happening internationally? Well, thank God Trump got elected. For any of you who think it was a bad thing, you are delusional, I'm telling you right now. For South Africa, it is the best thing ever because it's going to heap enormous pressure on them.
And I just want us to be alert at the fact that whenever Uncle Rob uses the term South Africa, he is not speaking about all of us. He is speaking about his people in that room and such.
The ANC, and here's how. Yes, AfriForum and the team went to America and pleaded not to cancel AGOA, not to put tariffs on South Africa, but to target the parties and individuals who are destroying this country. So do direct targeting on the terrorist list.
So the people who are destroying this country, is that yourselves, Uncle Rob? Because that's what you're busy doing with what you're saying here. Because what you are advocating for is a corporation and not a country.
List, on the freeze your bank account list, on the no travel list. And America can really make your life miserable. If you're on those lists, it's very hard to travel. It's very hard to wire money because if any American institution is involved, even as a third party, that money is locked up. So that's what AfriForum was calling for. Like, don't hurt South Africans, hurt the people that are racist, hate speech, corrupt, evil, and taking money from Iran. And that's what AfriForum asked for. And I agree with them. I think that is the right strategy. And that is why MK want me on the treason list. And if that's treason, I'll take it. So that's America and South Africa. It's a very fluid moment. Elon Musk.
I don't think you fully understand that statement you just made, Uncle Rob. Because once you find yourself in that moment, you're going to wish you never made that statement. But you are very bold.
In a private conversation with a friend of mine 3 weeks ago, doesn't believe South Africa stands a chance. And he only cares because he was born here, He has some friends here. His dad lives here. He has a residual emotional attachment to South Africa, not a primary attachment like most of us and the South Africans abroad, a residual. He's prepared to make the effort. But he said to that friend of mine when he was asked 3 weeks ago, do you really care? Do you think South Africa stands a chance? And he thought about it for a bit and he said, demographics don't lie, meaning we don't really stand a chance. Okay? Trump only cares because he sees this as DEI as a country. He sees this as racism as a country. And he has a lot of South Africans in his ear, the most important of whom, Elon Musk and Gary Player. Gary Player is delivering the goods on our behalf. So America's coming in swinging. And ANC, when they hit rock bottom, what do? They keep on digging. 2 days ago, I had a coffee with a friend of mine who runs the Franklin Templeton Fund, 6th biggest asset manager in the world, X trillion in assets. And he asked to see me just to get my view, because he has to report to his CEO on the prognosis for Africa, prognosis for South Africa. And I gave him my view, much as what I'm telling you. I said, does depend on March the 12th, but I'm 3 out of 10 for South Africa.
Again, here is what I want to put into perspective for our people regarding this economy. You just heard the figures he quoted. X amount of trillions in assets. Right? Now here is something I want you to consider. There's a study that has been done. It's probably now about 4 to 6 years ago. Now, just add another 2 or 4 billion if you want to make up for inflation, etc. At the time, they concluded it's only going to cost $6 billion to fix the problem of world hunger, to build the necessary infrastructure, to make it possible to fix hunger, the food system in the world, so that not one person, no matter in what remote area you live, not one person has a food problem. Only $6 billion. Now these people are in possession and in control and in charge and in all the adjectives that goes with that. They are in possession of an excess of that 6 billion rand, you know. Even in the top 10 most richest people, the person at number 10, even him has more than $6 billion. Now, when it only costs $6 to $8 billion to build the necessary infrastructure to solve the food problem in the whole entire world, what makes us think that the capitalists in the society wants to end hunger, wants to end poverty? Because if poverty is eradicated, there is no such thing as a millionaire, there is no such thing as a billionaire, there is no such thing as a gazillionaire. And that is what it's all about. That is what they are all about. To have numbers behind their name. They don't worry if it's at the expense of millions and billions of people's lives. This is what this capitalist economic system allows. And again, Christians, how can you consider yourself a capitalist?
all the kids overseas should stay overseas. And the kids can afford to go, should go. I still believe that. But he then told me that they manage and advise the Eskom pension fund and the Transnet pension fund, amongst others. This is Franklin Templeton. And the heads of both those pension funds had just been told by the ANC from Cyril Ramaphosa that if America upped their pressure on us, they are banned from having American advisors, asset management advisors. So that story, extrapolate that, and South Africa then re-engages its relationship with Iran a few days ago. The ANC is doubling down and doubling down and doubling down. It's just going to get worse. If you
Rob,
give me a...
these are the leaders the people have voted for. Why are you going against the people? Because capitalists do not give a shit for democracy. They are not Christians. They do not care for democracy. Capitalists.
A few more minutes. I'd like to just give you my view on the international situation as I see it. Everybody who watched the Trump-Zelensky meeting, or most people, would have, initial impression was how horrible of Trump to treat a man like that. Brave Zelensky fighting against the Russians, country invaded, evil empire. But what really is going on?
That wasn't my perception, Uncle Rob. My perception was finally somebody is talking sense into this corrupt man. You can't come here to another country and insist you need to be given armaments and money. And I know why you feel so bold to demand, because you were installed.
Is a little bit more sophisticated than that.
Please enlighten us.
From America's perspective, Russia is not the great threat. Russia is not the threat at all. Russia is actually weak, its economy is on its knees, and its military has only managed to capture 13% of a small neighbor, Ukraine. How's that for a military threat? Russia has real issues, but they're allies with China, North Korea, and Iran. So from an American perspective, peace is essential, regardless of what Ukraine has to give up. From an American and world security perspective, and Zelensky's going to have to take it. Europe has to stand up and defend itself. Why should America have hundreds of thousands of troops in Europe defending the Europeans who refuse to pay their share in defense? Europe is a socialist, lazy, pathetic, economically slow morass. And they deserve to get off their asses and fund their own defense budget. Why?
And again, Uncle Rob is explaining on himself. It is not about whiteness. And here is where many of our colored and black people who say that we are racist when we speak about or against white supremacy. Here is a prime example, Uncle Rob. These are white people he speaks so filthy and down on. Because they are not of the same mindset, Zionistic, as he is. And people who think like him. No, the people who own our economy.
Why should America do it? And I agree with America. America's big threat is China. America needs Russia out of Ukraine, peace, Europe to sort itself out. And I'm sorry, Ukraine's going to have to take a bit of a battering on behalf of the world. America's perspective. The next step is Middle East.
So you are now the spokesperson for America here in South Africa, Uncle Rob. How do you come to that conclusion that that is their perspective? Uncle Rob, what do you know that we don't? Because clearly everybody can see what really is going on.
And the main negotiator,
You are just here now to sway our perception in the direction that you need.
for the Trump cabinet is Steve Witkoff. Watch that space. Witkoff's supposed to bring peace in the Middle East and sort the Middle East out. But where is he right now? In Moscow. And who's he with? Putin. And hypothetically, what's happening in that meeting is, Putin, you are now our, I won't use the B word, you are now America's, and you're going to listen to us. You're weak, we can smack you, and you don't stand a chance. Economically, technologically, militarily, we're stronger than you are, and you know it. You failed, but we're going to make sure you don't lose face. We're going to allow you, Putin, to retreat from Ukraine, keep Donbass, keep Crimea. Ukraine can't join NATO. And we're going to put American business people, engineers, and scientists in Ukraine to back up the deal we've done where we've taken their lithium and rare earths. We don't care about their lithium and rare earths. What we're really doing is putting business people and security people who are American in Ukraine. And you leave Ukraine alone.
Look at that nice story Uncle Rob is telling us, swaying our perception and how we perceive what's happening there in reality. We know because he couldn't help himself, he had to tell on himself and them. First saying that we just here to take the minerals and rare earths, and then he backtracks. Very, very clever, very, trained in PR.
Move out. But the second part of the deal is you're pulling out of your support for Iran because I'm going to let Israel loose on Iran. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity for Israel to flatten Iran. And they will do it, in my estimation, in the next 60 days.
Yo, Uncle Rob. So how do you feel about the people in Iran, the women, the children, the innocent men? These capitalists have no love for life.
There will be Israeli jets going in to take out the whole uranium and nuclear empire of Iran, with American jets covering them from the air and big aircraft carriers from the sea. Iran is out. I'll tell you why it affects South Africa. Russia will also have to disconnect from China because there'll then be deals between the West and Russia, and they'll welcome Russia back like you welcome that pervy uncle of yours who comes to every Christmas party and flirts with the barmaids and gets drunk, and you try and get rid of him as quickly as possible. Because that's what Russia is. Russia's a Christian country, Western European, having problems with the Muslims like most of Western Europe. And it's kind of the evil cousin of the West, but it's an evil cousin. So America's and Witkoff's saying this to Putin. Next step, pull out of Iran. We're going to smack Iran. And the final piece is kick those North Koreans out and start disconnecting yourself from China. And then America is going to focus on the real threat to America and the threat to world peace, China. And America is way stronger than China, financially, militarily, technologically, culturally, everything else.
Why is China more of a problem for the world than America, Uncle Rob? When China is not having military bases in other countries who have not asserted themselves like the way America does on other countries. Very interesting perspective.
America is by far stronger and getting even stronger because in the White House are entrepreneurs, business people, and technology whiz kids who are going to get let loose to create the whole new generation of weapons, AI systems, and incredible technologies that will keep the world.
Nothing about food sustainability, life sustainability, recreational. None of that, Uncle Rob. None of that. People, can you see what these capitalists envision for Earth? More security, less freedom, more control. No, man.
World safer. So that's what's going on in the world. How does it affect South Africa? South Africa is going to run, ANC is going to run out of allies very quickly. China won't want to support South Africa and create another problem in the face of America. They've got enough to do. Russia doesn't give a damn. They'll pull their support. They were supporting MK anyway, not ANC. And Iran, that has been bribing the ANC to do the ICJ case against Israel, they're going to get flattened.
So, you did not say allegedly, Uncle Rob. So that means you have evidence of this bribery. Please present to us, because our president, he's got people now answering to the courts for corruption because he has evidence. You have no interest to fix this country or the people, Uncle Rob. Because now you come spew propaganda here, telling people that the ANC has been bribed, but you're presenting no evidence. Is this the same as weapons of mass destruction that was never there? So are you working from the same handbook? That's why you're so into America? No, Uncle Rob, no. Where is the one South Africa?
ANC, MK, EFF are going to run out of arms they can run to. They have no allies left internationally. And then...
And again, notice... These people are being prepared for war. When did the ANC go to weapons for anything other than in the time of apartheid? The ANC never had a conflict, or this country never had a conflict where our government had to go and get weapons from another country. Are you preparing us for something, Uncle Rob, that we don't know about? Please, you must say, you must share.
America will turn its focus on South Africa. Whether we'll see the USS Nimitz parked off the Durban port, you can lie in bed and dream about that. But I think the one chance we have of saving this country, getting rid of the ANC, and putting the MK and EFF where they belong, I'll let you think about where that is the external situation, not the internal. We're losing the internal situation. We are frogs boiling in a pot, and it's getting very hot right now. But the international situation is swinging in our favor, and it would not have happened if Obama and Biden had been...
Again, when you say in our favor, who is our? Because it's not going to be favorable to the people when your wet dreams come true, Uncle Rob. Who is our? You have no love for South Africa.
In power. Biden being the sock puppet of Obama. So if I want to end this with a little bit of hope, it's that what is going on internationally is in our favor. The world is swinging away from the woke left, from this nonsense about net zero, from all the wokeism and DEI and CRT, to a world of common sense. And Alec Hogg said a very wonderful thing when we were at the ARC conference 3 weeks ago. He said, Warren Buffett's Obama, the annual meeting, is a festival of capitalism. This ARC conference is a festival of common sense. I thought it was beautifully put, Alec, and it really was. So the world is swinging back to center right, and South Africa is going the other way. But hopefully that'll change. On that note, I'm going to start getting into stand-up comedy. I'm going to try and make people smile. And don't tell my wife about this MK thing today. She doesn't know.
Very interesting, huh? Yeah, guys. So, I know I've been a bit crazy in this one. But please, given what Uncle Rob shared, in my commentary on that, let me know down below in the comments what your perspective is and how do you view or perceive South Africa, the trajectory, and what you would like to see the position and the destination for us to reach. What kind of South Africa would that be? This has been Marshall for Wake Us Up in the Hood. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.